Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Chloe Taylor, and on this channel, I believe that we have one of the most cozy, autumnal, vibey corners of the internet. So if you like my style, you like the way that I read, or you want to be a part of this community, be sure that you hit that subscribe button. You get my pick a cards every single week and so much more. So this week's reading, we are going to be focusing our intention on 3 weeks from now, or what is culminating in the next 3 weeks. We have a lot of really fantastic things happening astrologically right now. Every planet is direct, meaning that we have no planets in retrograde, and so there is a lot of forward momentum. We're also going to be cresting into Aries season at the end of this month if you're watching this as the video rolls out. Of course, I always channel my readings to be timeless unless there is a very specific date in mind, but just know that right now, if you're seeing it when it first comes out, we do have Aries season coming up at the end of the month. So we will be in that, or about to be in that. Now, I believe we'll actually already be in it 3 weeks from now. So I feel like there's a lot of energy that is coming up right now. And I just want to really get a good look at where we're going to be. So before we get into the messages, I do just want to remind those of you that are interested or are curious or didn't know, I do have a Patreon where you get weekly energy readings from me, pick a cards that you can't get anywhere else. They don't get posted publicly to the channel, so they're just like extra ones. You also get live streams. We do like actual live streams together as a community where you can come and chat with me. Last time we looked at the global event of the Pluto return of America, so that was really interesting. The past broadcast is actually up over there still if you want to check it out. And you just get access to a huge library of content as soon as you join. Like, you get access to everything that has been put up on the Patreon since May of last year. So it's not like you just join now and you only get what's coming out right now. You get the entire library, and then everything. If you continue to be a patron, obviously you'll continue to get more content as it comes out every single week. So definitely check it out if you are interested. It really supports me as a creator, and I certainly appreciate it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the reading. So let me go ahead and just read each of these cards to you, so maybe it will help clarify you on what pile you want to choose if you weren't already sure yet. So pile number 1, we have the 1111 card, and it says, I am awakening. The universe is arranging people and experiences on your path to help you succeed and helping you wake up to who you truly are. I am awakening. Then the pile number 2 card we have is 1212, and it says, stay focused on your best possible future and remain optimistic throughout the entire journey. Your angels are right behind you as you turn your dreams into reality. And it says, I am focused. And then for pile number 3, we actually have 333. You are being called upon to use your spiritual gifts as a light worker, assisting all of humanity. Live your truth and be a positive light to others. I am powerful. So definitely take those, soak those in. Maybe one of the numbers called to you, maybe one of the I am statements called to you, maybe it was the description. You can also check the timestamps and see if your lucky number is present on any of the piles. So definitely take your time with this. You are never going to choose wrong. You can absolutely choose more than one pile. Some people will even listen to the entire video and then decide after the fact which pile was definitely theirs. So definitely take your time with this. There is no rush. I'm going to go ahead and turn up the meditation music for you and give you some time to decide before we get into it. Hello there, pile number one. If you chose the 1111 I Am Awakening card, this is going to be your reading. So we do have that 1111 card, which I already read to you. And we also have for you the number 21. So 21 might be just a significant number for you. 1111 may also be as well. But let me go ahead and read to you this card. And then we have so many more cards to get into. So we have, you are highly creative with excuse me, you are highly creative with a strong will to succeed. Your imagination is highly charged. It reveals itself in everything you do, from your sparkling conversation to your most prized projects. I am inspiring. So the number 11 card also talked about the universe arranging people and experiences into your path to help you wake up to more of who you truly are. So I do feel like for you, pile number one, excuse me, gosh, first of all, how are y'all's throat chakras feeling? Because right when I got into your reading, I feel like my throat feels very tight. Like I am struggling to get words out. So let's all just take a big deep breath for a moment. I want you to focus on your throat and let's just take a big deep breath in and out together, okay? So let's do that. Sighing it out feels good. It's good for the throat chakra to do that. But I feel like some of y'all are really struggling with speaking your truth. There is definitely something going on with your throat chakra. And that might just be like a couple of you that I'm clicking into here, but there's definitely an emphasis of like your throat, like you're catching on your own words. It's hard to even speak them. But I want to tell you, and Spirit wants to tell you, pile number one, that maybe speaking is not your forte. Like maybe speaking is not where you're meant to awaken or inspire others. Maybe this is more about what you can create. And especially with I Am Inspiring and talking directly about your creativity, maybe you've been trying to use your voice too much for creativity. And it's time that you actually let like other things. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't like make text images or things like that and use your voice in a different way. I feel like when it comes to speaking, though, for some reason, Spirit is saying that speaking may not be your strongest suit right now, and to work on being more inspiring in other formats. So just take that for what it is. That might be a very specific message for just a couple of you, but that's really what I'm getting. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these tarot cards that we have. Now, I do link all the decks down below that we use as well. So if you like any of the artwork or anything, I put them in the order that you see them in the reading. So definitely check out the description for that. But we have, first of all, the Two of Pentacles. So 3 weeks from now, what I'm hearing for you, pile number one, is that you're going to be getting your life a lot more in balance, because the Two of Pentacles is absolutely a card that resembles getting balance back in your life, right? We have these two coins that are like really moving back into balance, especially when it comes to your financial situation. But this could also just be all around balance in your life in every aspect, which, like I said, if you're watching this reading as soon as it goes live, we do have Aries season coming up, and I do feel like there is going to be a supercharge that hits everybody that's going to be very focused on getting like your stuff together, basically. So definitely with that Two of Pentacles, I see that still coming out. So we also have for you the Spirit of Wands. And the Spirit of Wands, you are definitely getting in touch with some aspect of your creativity, because not only do we have this beautiful figure, right? This like angelic like being here, right here with a big like rod, which like this basically resembles like the wand, I guess. But this is also about your light, supercharging your own creative energy and using it to bloom something beautiful, because we do have this beautiful plant down here at her feet, and it looks like it is cascading up her. It's growing into her. And to me, this also can resemble abundance as well, because plants often tell us that. They tell us about abundance. We also have a lion depicted back here in the card, which tells me that you're feeling very, very self-confident in the things that you are creating. They're coming from a place that is very creative, very grounded, and you're just really getting into the flow. I think this is something that's been missing from your life for a while. And the flow that you are coming into with creation is a very welcomed change of pace for you. And I do feel like it's going to be coming in very quickly. Spirit also wants me to tell you that you are very protected. Like this lion off in the distance, this to me says that your creative endeavors are very protected. So if you're creating something, you're worried about how it's going to be received, you're worried about who's going to see it. Spirit is saying that your creative work is protected right now. And then we have the Four of Swords. And this card I love because the Four of Swords usually talks to us about rest. But in this case, I want you to pay a lot of attention to the imagery that we're being given here. Because yes, it does look like this figure is kind of like stopping to smell the flowers, stopping to pay attention, stopping to be more aware of their surroundings, which of course we could say is like a point of rest, right? But I want you to pay attention to the fact that this person is also carrying a sword over them. Like they are kind of starting to get ready to get back into something. So I actually think that this is more about you resurfacing after a period of rest. And I also say that because the ground is very white in this imagery. And it looks like it's like snow covered almost, but spring is sprung, right? We have flowers that are coming into bloom after like a long, dark winter. So I think this is like, yes, stop and pay attention to your surroundings, have awareness, rest if you need to. And honestly, I have this quote up on my whiteboard right now that I was just directed to by Spirit when I looked up, and it says, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. And I know that's like a very popular quote. I don't even know who originally said it, but it's one that also inspires me. So it's up there on my whiteboard. But this is one that I feel like really pays homage to this card in particular in this deck, where learn how to rest, but that doesn't mean quit on your creative endeavors. It doesn't mean quit on the things that you want to do. And we also have the Five of Pentacles. So the one thing I will say is that coming up in the next 3 weeks, you might experience a little bit more of leaner times when it comes to finances. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going broke. It doesn't mean that you're going to lose your home or anything like that. It's just really more of a warning that you need to be paying attention in the sense that, let's say you get a little bit of extra money over the next 3 weeks, hold some of it back. Hold some of it back, put some of it into a savings account, because there are going to be a little bit of leaner times coming up, and you want to be prepared for that time when it arrives. So Spirit is really giving you this as a warning that, just maybe if you already have a savings account and you're like, no, I'm not worried, maybe consider like the normal amount that you would put into savings, double it up if you're able to. This can also, to me, in my opinion, I know like most people always talk about the financial aspect, but I also feel like this is about like resources in general. So this might also be about like within the next 3 weeks, you're getting into creating more resource for yourself. So this could be in the form of like learning how to can, or learning how to preserve things so that you can store them up. So like resources like food and things like that. Or maybe you're starting to backstock food, which I always encourage everybody to work on that, especially as we have Uranus going through the sign of Taurus, which is the sign of resources. We've had this transit going on for quite some time, but it often does kind of mess with our resources. So I always encourage, if you're able to, when you're at the grocery store, you're buying your normal groceries, get a couple of extra cans, put those into a closet somewhere. This is about just really making sure that you're taking care of your resources because leaner times are ahead. Now, we also have for you in some oracle cards, we have Spirit Guide. So those of you that have been wanting to connect with your spirit guides in the next 3 weeks, I feel like you are going to get a very clear sign. And maybe it's something that you prayed for specifically or asked for specifically, but there is definitely something that is coming in for you directly from your spirit guides. And if it could be a relationship, I'm hearing from some of them. It also could be that you asked for something specific. I have a whole video that I made on my channel, actually a couple of them, where we've talked about connecting with your spirit guides and what to do and how to start that. So maybe some of you tried that method and now your response is going to be coming. So there's definitely something about spirit guide here. I'm also hearing from spirit that you have an ancestor that is one of your guides, maybe somebody that has passed away that you're needing to connect with at this time. So if you have an altar space in your home, spirit is saying, please light a candle, leave an offering, put something on this altar space for us or for me. For some of you, I think it might be a couple of people, but for a few of you, it's just one person because I'm hearing both. I'm hearing for us and for me. So if you have an altar space, leave something out for them because they are a guide that watches over you. Maybe even lions could have been significant to them in some way. Maybe that's part of the protecting your work, right? The things that you create. We also have for you the card of prosperity. See, this is why I think that this Five of Pentacles isn't necessarily about money. That's what, and I don't spirit just kind of whispered that in there and was talk about the resources of the Five of Pentacles because I almost feel like you're going to be okay prosperity wise. Obviously it's never a bad idea to save money, but I feel like this is more about different kinds of resources. So financially, you might be okay, and it doesn't really feel like anything has changed. Times are not necessarily leaner. In fact, I would say you're going to be given more money 3 weeks from now. But the thing is, it's resource. So like I said, just make sure that you take care of yourself in that sense. Backstocking things into savings, working on food storage, maybe it's resource. And this doesn't mean go and hoard. Don't be hoarders. That's not cute. I do not condone that behavior. Don't go out and hoard resources, but it's a good idea just to, a little here and there will really add up over time. And that is really, I think, the message that spirit is trying to communicate, that money will flow just fine 3 weeks from now. And if you're worried about a financial situation, spirit is saying that you're going to be well taken care of 3 weeks from now, but there are other resources that you need to pay attention to. We also have for you family. So for some of you, 3 weeks from now, maybe you're about to give birth to a child and that child is going to come earlier than anticipated. For some of you, I'm also hearing that this might just be an announcement in your family that your family is going to be expanding. Maybe your significant other is going to become pregnant. You're going to become pregnant. There's definitely something around pregnancy here with this moon. It doesn't have to be you. It could be just be another member of your family. But I also am hearing that there is a reconnection with family. And this doesn't have to be biological. This can also be the people that you consider yourself to have family with that you have created, really close friends, those kinds of relationships. But I do feel like there is something about family. Some of you, your spirit guide might even be a past family member. Somebody in your immediate family, though, there's definitely something about immediate family because we have what looks like a couple and 2 children, but there's definitely something with family. I'm also hearing that spirit is saying three weeks from now, your family or somebody's family might be migrating or moving away from, or there's definitely something happening when it comes to family right now because we're seeing these birds migrating away. And it's maybe you're picking up your whole life and moving with your family, but there's definitely a move on the horizon. And then we have confidence. Oh, I love this card. This is beautiful. I just got like the best feeling. Like sometimes when I look at cards, I'll feel the feelings of the card. And I don't even know what that psychic sense is called. I know that there's one for psychic feeling, but I feel like my solar plexus just like exploded in a good way. And like I sat up straighter. I just feel like the feelings of confidence, if you've been feeling really run down about like your decisions in life, or you've been really afraid, like also I want to point out to you that my throat doesn't feel tight anymore. Like there is definitely an up level of confidence, whether it is in looks, if it's in the way that you speak, if it's in the way that you create. There is something that you are going to start feeling more confident about. And because of that, you are going to see success in it, possibly in the form of material and financial gains, I'm hearing, because you did get that card of prosperity. Oh my gosh, you really are getting prosperity. The next two cards I have for you, the first one is Pyrite, let the money flow in. So really, I don't think you need to be concerned about finances 3 weeks from now. That Five of Pentacles is really about different kinds of resources, because pyrites, if y'all were not aware, pyrite is a crystal or a stone that is really great for manifesting more money into your life. I actually recorded a podcast recently on the feng shui of creating more money flow in your home. And pyrite, I have pyrite in my money corner, and it totally makes a difference. So if you're able to get pyrite, it's a good one. This might be a sign that you want to pick some of that up. I believe it's relatively inexpensive, at least where I live. It's relatively cheap. Good stuff, though. Really good for manifesting more money into your life. And then we also have rose quartz. Oh, my favorites. Rose quartz is my favorite crystal. It says, open up your heart. So Spirit is also saying that those of you that don't have good relationships with family, I feel like they are like, there's somebody that wants to connect with you. It might be like a cousin or a niece or a nephew. There's somebody that wants to connect with you that maybe is not as immediate, but you haven't connected with them because your immediate family is not like the best. And this isn't going to be everybody. Like, this message is very specific. You maybe haven't connected with people that are a little bit more distanced away, because you don't like talk to their mother or their father if it's a niece or a nephew or a cousin. Like, maybe you've kind of cut that off, and this person wants to have a relationship with you. So you know if this is you. With rose quartz, open your heart to that connection. Open your heart to being willing to have that connection, because I think there's something important about it that you need at this time. Spirit is saying that it's an important connection. Then we have for you non-duality. Let your authentic humanity shine, let your authentic, let your authentic humanity shine forth while also bowing to the inner divine. You can become fluent at doing both. So I feel like, especially right now, I mean, I think this has been a problem for a long time, but right now in the world, more than ever, we have a lot of things being given to us, right? We have a lot coming in from the news. There's a lot, and we don't want to just bury our head in the sand and ignore it. But we also, I think it's like very important to like, how do I even phrase this? I feel like my Pluto return video does such a great job at explaining what I'm trying to say. But it's like, don't get me wrong. Take a break, walk away, do what you need to do to get right with your energy. But also, the world needs you to be present. And allowing yourself to have love and shine forth in humanity while also keeping a spiritual aspect to yourself. You don't have to be all one or all the other. You don't have to be all logic brain, all fact brain. You don't have to be all creative, all mystic, right? We can actually do both. And this is about bringing both together. And I say this all the time on my channel. I don't believe that logic and mysticism should be separated. I think that's something that we actually really need to do away with in the world. It's the same as divine masculine and divine feminine. I don't think that these things were meant to be separate or one was meant to dominate the other. And currently on the planet, we have a lot of masculine or logic that is very, very, very like loud. And I do like, I'm just going to say it like it is. I do feel that we are experiencing a rise of the divine feminine. We are experiencing a rise of mysticism. And I think it's a good thing, but I also think that there needs to be, it's like two extremes almost. And I do believe that eventually we're going to come back to equilibrium, but we have to find that non-duality in ourselves before we can see it everywhere else. So how can we be both? How can we make room for both? And then we have letting go. Everything is indeed out of control, and the universe will hold it all. I can safely let go. So over the next 3 weeks, if you feel like things are ramping up and you're looking for that non-duality, right? You're looking for releasing of that tense energy. Know that you have the power to do that. That is what Spirit is trying to confirm to you with both of these cards, is that you have the power to hold it all and also hold none of it. It's that great paradox, right? We always have that paradoxical energy coming back to us at all times. And we can't have the whole without the all, right? I might be saying Moon Man talk right now, but you get what I'm saying. And then lastly, we have the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? I feel like this card is very, very, very important right now, and I'm probably not even going to do it justice. But this card, especially over the next 3 weeks, this is about not attaching yourself to labels, to people, to places, and really allowing yourself to just to ask yourself who you are. Because it's very easy to get swept up in everything that is being given to us and choosing a side. That I feel like is the number one thing that honestly really keeps us divided, is we're constantly being asked to choose a side. And ask yourself what you cling to. What identities do you cling to? What labels do you cling to? What keeps you separate from another person? What keeps you separate from people in your community? What keeps you separate from friendships, from love, from the world? What identities do you uphold that make you say things like, oh, I can't handle that person, or, oh, that's a bit too much for me, or, they're this kind of person? Ask yourself where you divide yourself from other people. And that can be a very loaded question. It can take a lot of deep diving to get to the center of that and ask yourself why you cling to certain things. You might uncover a lot about yourself. And I feel like that's really over the next 3 weeks what is coming in. Like as you are ramping up your confidence, as you're gaining prosperity, as things in your family dynamic are shifting, you're maybe even gaining a lot more spiritual knowledge. It's time to actually ask yourself where the labels are that you hold to and how you can work towards releasing them. I feel like pile number 1, you have a lot of work coming your way. And I don't mean like, I don't say that to scare you. It's more of this work will be some of the most beautiful that you do. And it will allow you so much freedom as you carry on. And I mean, gosh, you picked the pile that says, I am awakening. Like, what did you expect? I feel like with this reading, but In any case, I hope this reading helped you out. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my podcast, my Patreon, links to everything down below. Patreon really does help me out. It is like the backbone of this community. It's how I'm able to do what I do. So thank you to those of you that do contribute on Patreon. If you're considering it, definitely check it out. And if not, I do also have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal. And because some of you have asked, I also put together a wish list. No pressure to look at that or to tip me on Cashapp, Venmo, or PayPal, but I did put that together, and I will start linking it in my description box if you want to see that. Again, only because it has been asked for. I'm not like asking you for gifts, just putting it out there that I've gotten a few comments about that, especially as my birthday month is encroaching in the springtime. I've been asked it numerous times, so that will be down there as well. But if you would like to tip me for my readings, again, I have that Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed as well. I do accept tips, but I do not expect them from you. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. I do. I love you so much. I'm so grateful that I get to come here and do this work with you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, letting me connect to your energy and to your guides. I thank you, and I thank your guides. All right, pile number 2. This is going to be your reading. So we have the 12 of 12, I am focused, and you also got 3, which says, expression comes naturally to you. You are very skilled at communicating your thoughts through conversation and creative pursuits. You are able to get others on board with your ideas. I am charismatic. So I feel like for you, pile number 2, what is going to be coming in the next 3 weeks is you really are just getting ish done. And I feel like people are noticing. People are noticing your energy and how much more focused and charismatic you are. So we're going to go ahead and look at some of the tarot cards that we have for you. And then we have some more oracle cards to look at. So we do have for you the 5 of Swords. And what this says to me, pile number 2, is that you might be experiencing some kind of competition in the next 3 weeks. Maybe you actually have like a competition coming up, or you've put in for something and you're going to be like part of a competition. Like maybe you put in a resume for a new position at work and maybe there's a few other applicants or something, but really, really rely on your charismatic nature to pull through, and don't like take your eye off the prize is what I'm hearing from Spirit. Keep your eye on the prize. And the competition will be literally, you'll be unstoppable. Like the competition will have nothing on you. Then we have for you meditation, which I love this card. Look at just how beautiful it is. We've got this beautiful figure in a garden that is fully blooming. She has like this beautiful halo sun behind her. And then there's like a blue planet up here, which I'm thinking maybe it's Pluto, maybe it's Neptune. Not really sure which, but I love this because I think as things are speeding up in your life, especially with that 5 of Swords, meditation to me, this is like giving yourself peace, right? And I want to tell you, pile number 2, that if you're somebody that doesn't meditate, something that I think is good to know is you don't have to just sit and be still to meditate. That actually doesn't work for everyone. I myself am somebody that has a really hard time doing that. And it doesn't mean that you're broken or that there's something wrong with you. It means that you need a different form of meditation. Something that I like doing, I'll give you a couple of examples because maybe you're somebody that has a really active mind. I'm a Gemini moon, so my mind is always running. But something that helps me is working with my hands. And so I'll do dot crystal puzzles. I love those. Those are really relaxing. I also really enjoy like paint by number is something new I got into. And I also really love putting together Legos. Legos are, yes, a little bit of an expensive hobby, but I think that using your hands can be a form of meditation as well if you're just focusing on that. And there are so many other ways. You could do like coloring books. anything that gets you into more of a meditative space. Maybe you're somebody that already is naturally great at meditating, but I recognize that I think a lot in spiritual communities, we talk about meditation and people make it seem like it should just be the easiest thing and you should just be able to do it. And it doesn't really allow for people that really feel misfit, that don't fit that mold, that can't just meditate. Because frankly, it really isn't for everyone. There are different ways that we can get to that place of peace, and it doesn't have to be just by sitting there in stillness and silence. So just know that you're seen and you're accepted here. If that's something that you've always struggled with, Spirit is telling me to reaffirm to you that there are so many ways to be with yourself and to clear your energy that aren't just the typical ways of meditating. But meditation in whatever way you can right now is going to be really important for you in the next 3 weeks. Then we also have for you the 5 of Cups. So we're getting a lot of 5 energy, pile number 2. 5s typically come in as disruptors. Now, I do want to say some of you, your lucky number might just be like 55 or 555, and that's why you're seeing this. But for some of you, like the 5 of Swords, that is that card of competition, right? The 5 of Cups is about paying more attention to what is wrong in our life versus what is going right. And Spirit is telling you that you need to put your focus on that meditative practice, on that gratitude practice. Put your focus, like, you keep zooming out is what I'm hearing. Like your perspective keeps zooming out and you need to zoom all the way in. So you keep zooming out and looking at the world maybe from this far off from this far off perspective. And though that can be a really good humbling thing to do, it is keeping you in this vicious cycle of possibly even like existentialism is what I'm hearing. There is something that is keeping you in this constant loop that you've been experiencing. And Spirit is saying, as you gain relief from this over the next 3 weeks and into the next 3 weeks, that is something that you're being asked to do, is to shift your focus into something else. Because where there is room in your mind to keep going there, you need to fill that space with something else. When you start to feel those feelings, your reading, pile number 2, is a lot more like stressful. Like I'm feeling that you're feeling a lot of really unsettling feelings. And Spirit is ultimately saying that in order for you to move forward right now, as maybe this has been a very tumultuous time for you and you are not feeling good and you keep asking for ways out of it, Spirit is saying that you are going to be your own best friend in this, and that where focus goes, energy flows. And so we have to start making decisions that take us into a different way of being. And I know it sounds easier said than done, and that's because it is. It's not the easiest thing to do when we're used to thinking the same thought over and over and over again. And that's how our brains actually function, right? We have neural pathways our brains have neural pathways that if we've been continuously thinking the same thought on autopilot, it will be easier and easier and easier to reach for that thought. And it's going to take a little bit of mental work in order to start thinking something differently constantly. So Spirit is saying to find what makes you feel still with yourself, that brings you joy, not because you're meant to monetize it, not because you're meant to do something or show somebody else or inspire somebody else, just because it feels good for you. And even if feelings of guilt arise, show up to do that practice anyways. You have to be the one that creates this place of setting yourself free, is what I'm hearing. And Spirit is also saying 3 weeks from now, you are going to be getting a lot of golden opportunities. I'm not exactly sure why the golden part, but we have golden opportunities coming in for you. So maybe as you release yourself from these mental prisons, is like what I'm hearing, you're going to realize how much more opportunity is available to you. And maybe you're going to get like a really big client, or there's definitely some kind of new opportunity. It could be an advancement in work, maybe a position at home. Maybe there is just something that's you've wanted to do or work with or travel to, and you're finally being given this opportunity, and it is a golden opportunity. Like, seize this. Spirit is actually telling you to start training your mind for this opportunity to come in, because the reason that it hasn't yet, this thing that you've possibly been asking for quite a bit, is because Spirit is saying when you get it, you're going to be so afraid that you're going to lose it because you're not mentally ready for it. So Spirit is saying you need to cultivate this mental practice first, this meditative practice with yourself, so that these opportunities, these golden opportunities that want to be in your life, when they come to you, you're not gripping them so tightly that you can't even enjoy them. So take that very seriously. Spirit was very adamant that I expressed that one quite a bit. So we also have for you 3 weeks from now, the card of happiness. So you're just going to be feeling more full of positive, glowing energy in general. I love that. We have a lot of I'm getting a lot of golden images for you, a lot of sun rays, a lot of joy is what I'm seeing. We also have home. So there's definitely something about your home coming in. This could be a new home. This might just be about up-leveling the home that you're in currently. Like, if you feel like your house has not felt like a home recently to you, or felt like your home, that is something that is going to be changing for you. You're really taking control of the environment that you're in 3 weeks. And your house is going to start feeling like a home, or you are going to be moving to a new home. We also have for you the card of manifestation. So with these opportunities that are coming in 3 weeks' time, Spirit is saying that this is something that you've asked for. This is something that you've wanted. This is something that it has to do with your happiness, your home, and it's something that you have manifested, and it's finally coming. So this is a really exciting season for you that's coming in. Oh my gosh, you also got the card of well-being. Literally, you have home, happiness, and health in some capacity with this well-being. If you have felt unwell, that is all about to change for you in the next 3 weeks, is really what I'm hearing. Your home is becoming more of a sanctuary and a safe haven. You're getting these opportunities, and the only thing that you need to commit to make it happen is to that meditative practice, no matter what it looks like. Maybe I should make a podcast episode for y'all on different forms of meditative practicing, because I think this is a concept that more people could really use information on that we don't talk about enough. So many people are not aware that you don't have to just sit on a rock on top of a mountain in lotus position to meditate. It really doesn't have to be like that. And that's a misconception that I myself used to have about meditating. And that's literally the only thing you have to do is start inviting more peace into your everyday life through a meditative practice. And all of this is going to come in so much better than you ever could have imagined, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. We also have create your own luck with the aventurine card. So aventurine might be a crystal that you feel really attracted to right now. And if you happen to stumble upon some or see it or have it in your collection, Spirit is saying to pull that out, pull it out and use that crystal. It's going to help you to invite these opportunities in, and it's also going to help you to have these expansive feelings of luck. Some of you, when I said these things, you immediately started telling yourself why you weren't worthy to have them. And Spirit is saying that aventurine can actually help you to create your own luck and to believe that you are lucky. And if you need a place to source crystals, I always recommend Bow Life. You can use my code pumpkin10 to get 10% off of your order there. They also offer pay in for, which is something I really appreciate if you're wanting to do like a bigger order. But I'll link that website down below for you and the coupon code if you're interested. They do a lot of great tarot decks and crystals. Definitely a reputable source. I have many, many, many of their pieces. Then we also have for you Golden Healer Quartz, Open the Door. So this is about opening the door to opportunity for yourself in 3 weeks' time. And you might be somebody that also identifies as some form of a healer. And if this is you, this might not be every single person here, but if you identify as some kind of a healer, Spirit is saying that it's time for you to open that full force. You know, if you've been putting off the Reiki course, this is time to do it. If you've been putting off reading the energy healing books, this is time to commit to the books. If you've been putting off anything around your own personal healing, like especially if you've been in resistance to something, you have to judge this for yourself. Sometimes resistance doesn't mean that we need to run into it more. We might need to go a lot slower or try something different. But a lot of times when it comes to resistance, the thing that we are resisting because we just keep putting it off is the thing that we actually need the most. And I found that, like, for example, writing three journal pages a day. There was a time period where I was very resistant to doing this. And once I finally started doing it and committed to it, it changed my life. Like, I went from being in a place of dealing with mental crisis literally every single day to actually starting to figure things out and feel better. So that's just one example, but there's something that you are being asked to commit to. It might even be that meditative practice, that it's time to open the door on that and stop resisting. And also, if opportunity comes knocking, don't be afraid to open the door. Oh my gosh, we also have the card of awakening for you. So if you felt drawn to pile number 1, which was also 1111 that had the awakening card, these two piles might be linked. There may also be a message in that pile for you, so check it out. We have, oh my Lord, wake me up from life as a spiritual sheep. Wait, what? Let me read that again. I've never seen this card. Oh my Lord, wake me from life as a spiritual sheep. May I hear you through my own instincts and common sense. Interesting. So this is also about awakening to your own spiritual gifts and no longer looking outside of yourself for the answers. And something I always like to remind y'all when you come to my channel and something like this pops up is, yes, I have messages that I can give to you, but you could literally buy a tarot deck and do this same thing for yourself. And I don't, like, people are always like, oh, Kloee, wouldn't that mean that you would be out of business? Like, shouldn't you not be saying that? And like, no, if everybody became their own oracle and started channeling for themselves and opening to their own psychic gifts, yes, my job would be obsolete and my job would be well done. Like, that's okay with me. I don't cling to this for that reason. I want everybody to experience that for themselves. So maybe this is your calling, that you need to start working in some kind of divination field or start getting into divining for yourself in particular. We also have for you grounded. Many of the most evolved beings on earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. Literally. What did I just say to you? Let me read that again. Many of the most evolved beings on earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. So this is also like, even when you look up to people, like I was just saying, like, even if you look up to me as some form of like a spiritual healer, yes, I have done a lot of work. Yes, I know a lot of things. I don't discount myself. However, I am just a regular person. I'm not doing anything here that you yourself could not also do. Have if you wanted to, if you felt called to, if it was something that you wanted to start doing, you could. Now, I will say this, I do believe in alignment, where if something isn't really in alignment with you, it doesn't work as well. But if you are living a fully aligned life, I believe everybody has psychic gift. Everybody has the ability to divine. And maybe your form is going to be different than mine. Your healing is going to be different. When I read these cards, I work in the healing arts. I'm a heart chakra person. My heart chakra comes out through my hands when I work with tarot cards. So for you, it could look very different, or it could look exactly the same. But there's definitely something here for you in the next 3 weeks, pile number 2, where you are going to be getting very connected to your own spiritual gifts. And Spirit is saying it's time. And lastly, we have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Wow. So this is about literally releasing yourself from the shackles of the past, completing karmic cycles. And these cards don't have reversals, so that's why I flipped it. But releasing these things, healing from not just the past of your current life, but literally lifetimes that you've already lived. So you're going to be making major breakthroughs in the next 3 weeks. And I feel like in your soul, like you're going to be feeling lighter from an energetic perspective, and that's going to manifest in your physical vessel as well. So if you've been feeling really heavy, unwell, your home environment maybe has felt really suffocating in some way, Spirit is saying that these are the things that are going to be shifting for you in the next 3 weeks. So thank you so much, pile number 2, for tuning in. Thank you for letting me connect to your guides, your spiritual team. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my podcast. Links down below. New episodes every Tuesday. Don't forget to check out the Patreon if you would like exclusive content, early access to content, and so much more over there. Y'all really are the backbone of this community, so I appreciate those of you that are already supporters, and I would love to have you there. If not, and another way that you can support me if you would like to, I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do not expect tips for my readings, but I certainly always appreciate them with so much gratitude. So those are also available to you. And is there anything else I want to tell you? I think that's it. Oh, I also have started linking my wish list down below because I was asked for it. Not because I'm expecting y'all to just send me presents. I've been asked numerous times for a wish list, and my birthday is coming up in the springtime month. So I was like, all right, we'll trial run it. I'll put it out for a little bit. Again, zero expectation there, but those of you that had asked me for it, I'm just letting you know that it's there. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. Thank you so much for gifting me with your time, your energy. Thank you to your guides once again. And I will talk to you again in the next one. Bye. All right, pile number 3. If you chose the 333 card, which I read to you in the beginning, you also got number 29, which says, you are highly intuitive and creative. Your mind thinks in pictures, and you seem to draw information and ideas from out of the sky. A powerful drive to know the oneness of all things. Wow. And it says, I am insightful. So you literally got the affirmations, I am powerful and I am insightful. So I do believe within the next 3 weeks, or in 3 weeks time, you're going to be getting an increase on like downloads from the universe, downloads to your psyche about your path, about your calling, about your purpose, about where you're going. And I want to remind you, pile number 3, that the number 3 in general is a very creative number. I myself am a life path 3. You might also find that you're a life path 3. Life path 3 people, and even if you're not a life path 3, this is still your pile, but there are some of you that need to hear this portion of the message that I'm getting. And life path 3s are divinely creative. They are on the path in this earth to like be the artist. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a painter or, the way that maybe we traditionally think of an artist. Even I myself, doing what I do, consider myself to be an artist, because to me, all an artist really is somebody that speaks to others beyond the five senses. So using things like metaphors, using things like imagery to get your messages out there, to inspire other people or to move other people in some way. So some of you, that might be the power that is being amplified for you in the next 3 weeks or over the next 3 weeks. You're getting downloads and insights about how powerful your calling and your path is. Now, we do have some tarot cards and then a bunch of oracle cards. So let's take a look at those. We have the card Chance for you, which this is technically also the Wheel of Fortune. And what I'm really getting just from the word chance is I feel like Spirit is saying many of you are stuck in this like analysis paralysis where you're looking and studying analytics. You're looking at trends. You're looking at what everybody else is doing. You're plotting and planning and dreaming and scheming. And Spirit is saying that it cannot move through you to create something until you make a move. You have to just start moving and stop planning. And I feel like there's at least 2 of you I'm hearing from Spirit that you might come to my readings a lot, and this is a message that is consistently given to you. So take that as confirmation if you have heard me say this to you before or channel this to you before, that Spirit is really saying it's time. Like, please stop planning and just take a chance on yourself and do something, create something, just make a move and see what happens. And recognize that even if you create something in the next 3 weeks or over the next 3 weeks, even if you create something and it doesn't get the attention that you would have hoped, it doesn't mean that you failed or that you did it wrong or that you could have done it better. Everything that we do is an opportunity to gain more knowledge and information moving forward. So just to kind of give you an example on that, for myself, my channel blew up in 2020, really. And I had been putting out weekly tarot energies. I had been putting out pick a cards a little bit here and there on my channel just because it was something that I enjoyed. And my channel was not popular. I had a gaming channel that was significantly more popular at the time. And this was kind of like my side hobby that I really wanted to be my main job. And I was mostly just putting things together for fun. I had no expectation of what was going to come out of the things that I was making. Yes, I had dreams, but I wasn't attaching those dreams and saying like, oh my gosh, this one video, this is the one that has to get me this many views so I can do this thing. It was just, hey, I wonder what I can create right now. And one of my videos popped off. And it did happen pretty soon after it was released, but I had produced over 100 videos on this channel before that ever happened. And I think it's because I was just taking in information and continuing to co-create with the universe, which is really what you're being asked to do. So your pile is innately creative in general. Then we have for you Awakening. So every single pile today, especially those of you that felt called to watch every pile, like every number spoke to you, every pile talked about awakening today. So like there was some card that would come out. Either it was the number card or it was now this card, or there was an oracle card that talked about awakening. You are now the 3rd pile to get something about awakening. So I do feel like the interesting thing about this is 3 weeks from now, like I said, we will be in Aries season. Aries season in the, I want to say it's the Northern Hemisphere. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what hemisphere I live in, okay? I flunked geography. I openly admit that I am unaware. But where I live, it is about to be spring. And spring is the time where the world, the planet, the flowers, the sunlight, everything is awakening. Now, obviously, not everywhere on the planet is that happening because there are some places that are going to be experiencing their autumn phase, right? During their spring over here. But I want you to recognize that this is also the awakening of the planet around you, and that can give you so much insight as well. Spirit is saying to look to nature for your inspiration. Even if you're looking for things to manifest in your life, something to pay attention to is think about how the flowers were once a seed and they had to manifest their dream of becoming the flower, right? And that was like their fullest expression of self is that flower. But they had to go through this entire journey of manifesting from just something in the ground before they could start growing, cracking out of the seed, which feels really destructive, and then coming up through the dirt as like a little shoot, and then finally reaching up towards the sky to bloom. I feel like there's a lot of energy in your pile about that, about being like under a layer of dirt almost and feeling very hidden and dark and like things are never going to shift, but they will. You are in the process of the seed cracking open, which feels like destruction, but it's not. You are actually reaching towards the heaven and reaching towards the sun. I'm literally seeing like visions of flowers in my mind. Like I can see visions of flowers of this happening just like very rapidly. And you literally are awakening to your highest purpose. And it's so important for you. Spirit is saying, Spirit is like mad, not like genuinely mad is not the right word, but I'm just getting like, tell them like Spirit is just like bursting to express to you how important it is that you just create, that you stop putting restrictions on how it has to be done and how it has to be curated, and just embrace this time. Then we have for you, oh my gosh, and the Queen of Wands, are you kidding? Are you kidding? I cannot make this shit up if I tried. Like, the Queen of Wands is one of the most confident cards in the deck, and it is a telling of somebody that is very confident in their ability to go forth in passion, that feels excited and feels like driven to create. The Queen of Wands is like the creative queen, because wands are overtly creative. I would say they bring creative energy, but they're also very fast paced and confident. And Spirit is saying also that it's time for you to act like you have the confidence that you think succeeding is going to give you, because that is what you're missing. You're missing the point that in order to manifest what you're asking for in 3 weeks, which is why you're here listening to this reading, because you want to see what is going to manifest, if your manifestations are coming and what is coming in. Spirit is saying in order for you to have that, you need to act like it's already here, because once it materializes for you, it is not going to change you. You have to change your own inner world first. The world literally conditions us to manifest backwards. Like, we are so conditioned to think that once we have the thing, we will feel good. And we're doing it backwards. We are supposed to feel good and then the thing arrives. So Spirit is really saying that your passion, your creativity, your everything is coming in, but you need to start acting like it now. This isn't something that is coming in 3 weeks. It's something that you need now. And with the Four of Cups here, this is also about getting into a still practice. This is about focusing on what you want. I feel like your thoughts around what you want are very scattered. There's a lot of like, oh, I think I want this. I think I want that. I'm not really sure. Maybe I don't want that. Am I doing the right thing? There's a lot of very scattered energy. And so the universe doesn't know what to give you, because you are unclear on what it is exactly that you want. And you're also looking for fulfillment in the wrong things. And I feel like you've even had people tell you this. Like, Spirit has literally been trying to scream this at you so loudly that you've had people tell you this already, that like there is this innate desire to be validated. or to create something that just changes the entire world. And you feel like that is going to that's going to make you content and make you feel good, but it's not. What I'm really getting, the Four of Cups is a card that talks about, to me, if we look at this under a psychological lens, it really talks about intrinsic value versus extrinsic value. Extrinsic value are things like, oh, when I have 1 million followers, that's when I'm going to feel good. When I make this much money, that's when I'm going to feel good. And you constantly keep the carrot like in front of you, if that makes sense. Like, you know how we see like the rabbit chasing a carrot on a stick? Like, you constantly keep the carrot away from you, when ultimately, in order for you to actually feel good in the presence of that, to receive that thing, whatever it is that you're trying to do through your art, through your work, through connecting, through inspiring others in particular, what you're missing is you have to inspire yourself first. You have to get to a place where you feel good first. And that doesn't mean that you have to be this like perfect, enlightened embodiment of a person. It's that Spirit is ultimately trying to save you from disappointment, from finally reaching this peak that you think is going to just fix your life. And it won't. You're going to feel good for 2 minutes, and then it's all going to come crashing down again, and it's going to be so much worse than before. And Spirit is ultimately saying that it's time to just start creating because it's fun. It's time to just stand in your own confident power because it feels good, and to start creating your idealized self in the present instead of thinking it is so far beyond you, because it isn't. And there's no amount of external validation that is going to make you feel like you deserve whatever achievement it is that you're seeking. You have to give it to you first. And creating intrinsic value is things like, oh, I want to create more peace in my life. I want to create ease in my life. I want to really tend to that anxious part of me and calm that part of me. That is a lot of intrinsic value. It really puts the focus on goals that you can obtain, that focus on your inner landscape versus things that are outside of you that you think are going to make you feel better or less anxious or less worried or more calm. Does that make sense? I'm sorry. I feel like I just went on a tangent, but I'm being yelled at over here by, not, like I said, not yelled at in like an aggressive way, but your spirit guides are loud. Like, they're tired of trying to send you every single message through multiple sources. They're not tired. They're going to keep trying until you understand. But I feel like they sent you here because they're hoping that this will finally make it click. Okay, so we also have for you for in 3 weeks, we have a reconciliation, which this to me, I'm really surprised that reconciliation is coming out, because you also have this card here, which I was going to show this one at the end, but I did kind of skim ahead. We also have this card of protection, call back your power, cut the cord, soul retrieval. So I feel like in 3 weeks' time, there is going to be somebody, Spirit is saying somebody is trying to reconnect with you from your past. And you might already have a good idea of who this is. I feel like they are a divine feminine presence. Now, that doesn't mean that they are male or female or how they identify. They might just carry a more predominant feminine energy about them. And they are looking to reconcile with you. And Spirit is saying that it's okay to forgive them. It's okay to get to a place where you can mutually understand, but they are not somebody that is meant to be a permanent fixture in your life. You have already dealt with the karmic debt that has come from this person. And well, you both have already dealt with it, and you're just looking, both of you, your souls are looking to reconcile that and to go on your ways. Like, you're not looking to be friends here. You're actually calling your power back by allowing forgiveness to enter, but the connection isn't something that's meant to stick around. Does that make sense? I asked like so many rhetorical questions, like you could even answer me in this moment. But I feel like I also say that a lot because I'm also communicating with spirit and asking spirit if I'm like channeling it right. And so I'm not always saying that to you. Sometimes I'm saying it to the guides that have shown up. But with Call Your Power Back, Cut the Cord, Soul Retrieval, this is more about taking your power back, not sharing your power with somebody else. And in fact, that's what you've been doing, is what Spirit is saying, by letting them kind of live in your mind rent free without this closure that you are going to be receiving between now and the next 3 weeks. You've been giving your energy away unconsciously to this person. And Spirit is saying through the reconciliation, you're actually going to get your power back, and it's going to help you to become more confident. We also have for you the card of financial health. So in the next 3 weeks, I do feel like your finances are going to be dramatically improving. You have actually already laid groundwork for this. Spirit says that you have done something recently that is going to bring more income in. Maybe you've already started to see it, but you're actually going to be in a good financially healthy place. So if you've been worried about that, maybe worried about like a bill that has come up or something, Spirit is saying that your financial health is doing good. Like it's gonna, in the next 3 weeks, if you've been stressing, you don't need to stress about it anymore. We also have for you the card of love. And for some of you, this is going to be a new romantic cycle coming in 3 weeks. Maybe there's somebody, I'm also seeing that for some of you, this is somebody that is returning to you. Like, I'm not talking about like a crazy ex. For a specific, this might actually be just for one person. I'm seeing like a reunion, like you've been separated from your significant other for a while, for whatever reason. Maybe they're in the service, or they have been away for a reason, and you are actually going to be reconnecting. For some of you, though, this is also going to be a lot about self-love, because we do have this figure clutching what looks like a rose quartz to her throat and to her heart region. And this to me says that your throat chakra is getting a clearing, as well as your heart chakra, and you are giving more love to yourself. And because of that, you are, again, feeling more confident, feeling more creative, and starting to put more on that intrinsic value that we talked about. We also have for you the card of truth. And so I also am hearing from Spirit that in 3 weeks' time, your truth might upset some people. I say that because we also have this imagery of this mirror reflecting truth out, right? And oftentimes when we speak truth and it upsets somebody else, not every time, but a lot of the time, it can be that it is mirroring something in that person that they don't like about themselves. And or when somebody expresses a truth at you, it kind of goes the same way. Like we only believe the things that people say about us because there's a part of us that internally holds on to that and believes it already. It's why it hurts so much. But Spirit is also saying, as your throat chakra is getting a clearing, which I think pile number 1, we talked about the throat chakra as well. So there might be a connection there. But with truth, because you are clearing that throat chakra space and your heart chakra, you're able to speak your truth in such a more clear and divine way that people are hearing you and seeing you. And you're actually gaining more exposure, especially if you're somebody that is in the creative field, because you are working on these intrinsic values. And you are working to clear your own internal landscape, you actually gain more exposure. So Spirit is saying that that is really important for you as you express your truth, as you express yourself. You get better and better at it as you clear away these blockages. And Spirit also wants me to tell you that you don't need, like, you can do this on your own. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to be the person that's going to tell you not to seek help, obviously. I will always condone like therapy or talking to somebody in the medical health field if you feel like, or in the mental health field, if that's something that you feel like you need. But Spirit is saying that for like a lot of this energy work, you can do this stuff on your own. You don't need somebody else to come in and do this healing. You have the power to do it for yourself right now. You're being given that from your spiritual team. They're helping you so you can start to do this work on your own. We also have for you the card of Argonite, which says release your emotional baggage. So this just might be, oh, there's a glare. I didn't move the light far enough away today. It looks like this. But with Argonites, release your emotional baggage. This is possibly a crystal you want to maybe bring more into your life. It's usually pretty inexpensive. I think we have a couple pieces of it in my house that like I've received from like blind boxes as like the booby prize in a crystal box. It's like relatively inexpensive in my region anyways, but it assists in helping you to release emotional baggage. So if there have been things that weigh heavy on your heart or on you, again, with that heart and throat chakra, you are being given the gifts right now and for the next 3 weeks to really clear this emotional heaviness out. I'm hearing that some of you, there might even be like a program that you're in, like maybe there's like a course of study or something that you purchased into, but there is definitely something that you can do at home on your own to do this. You don't need to like go beyond you, if that makes sense. Then we also have Ocean Jasper, schedule yourself in. So this is definitely spirit reminding you to take creative accountability, to like make sure that you're creating consistently, but also that you are scheduling in time for yourself. Even if it's like, hey, 1 day a month, I'm taking a hot bath. This is the night I'm doing it. If you have kids, you best be talking to your husband or your significant other or your mom or grandma or whoever to make sure that you have somebody to watch them. But there is definitely this need to schedule time in for yourself, to let yourself be. This is going to be very important, especially in 3 weeks from now when, or like, even as you kind of figure this out for yourself, because I feel like this is really a lot of unpacking for you. And as you do this, Spirit is saying you need to pencil in quiet time for yourself. Then we have for you 2 more cards. We have the energetic clearing. See, I told you, energetically, your guides are on it. It says, during crisis, the Holy One herself may be excuse me, let me read that again. During crisis, the Holy One herself may be emptying you of fear and attachments, preparing you to receive her luminous plan. So literally, you have guides and archangels that are working with you right now to clear your energy field. And now that you are aware, you can also like ask for that. You can say, hey, I would really like an energy clearing when I sleep tonight, or when I'm resting here at this point, or when I'm taking that bath that I'm going to pencil in, right? And you can ask and give permission to your spiritual team to do that for you, and they will. We also have for you inner child. Allow me to give compassion and love to that little one. Let me attend to its deepest needs and feelings. So especially if you are an artist or a creative type, or I know that this pile was very focused around that, which apparently a lot of y'all creatives be coming to this reading, but if you are somebody that is inherently creative, that you don't feel like you're always seen, or you haven't felt like you've had your moment, Spirit is saying that a part of that is because little you felt like they were not seen, and you have blocked this out in your life. You have literally put yourself in positions where you don't let yourself be seen, or you're very afraid to be seen, and you're afraid to just take a chance because in the past, somewhere, somebody really stamped that out of you. And Spirit is saying you can ask for these energetic blockages to be removed. So talk to your spiritual team. Don't be afraid to ask for their assistance. I always find for myself, I will ask my spiritual team if I'm really struggling with something, that while I sleep, I will ask for like energy upgrades. I will ask for things to be cleared out. And sometimes after that initial clearing, it might take a few days for that energy to fully shift away, but it does make a difference. And your spiritual team wants to help you. Like, that to me is the biggest thing that we don't talk about enough, is how your spirit guides, your archangels, your spiritual team, they want to help you, but oftentimes they need you to ask. We do not ask them enough. We don't ask for enough favors. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my podcast, new episodes every Tuesday, my Instagram, my TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor. If you would like some extra content for yourself, I also have my Patreon available. It really helps me as a creator, so I would certainly appreciate it if you joined. We have a great community over there. If not, I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do not expect tips for my readings, but I certainly appreciate them. And because some of you have asked, I have started to compile a wish list. I do not expect gifts from you either. This is literally because I've had people asking me for one for over a year. So I will have my wish list linked down below for you as well if you're interested in that. Again, no pressure there whatsoever. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. This reading, I really I feel so not like enlightened, like I'm going to ascend, but I feel like my energy is lighter because I read this. And I hope that you feel similarly. I feel like the energy of this reading was something that you really needed to hear. And I just have so much love and gratitude for you and for your spiritual team. So thank you for connecting with me. Thank you to your guides for showing up. And I wish you nothing but the best. All right, Pumpkin, I'll talk to you again soon.